Okay. Let me put a little disclaimer out there real quick. First of all, let me actually just shout out to Baltimore because I'm watching your video. So Baltimore, shout out to you. If you want me to take down my video, I do not mind. Anyways, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another video. Sending out a lot of love. Right before I begin, I want to say something. I have so many major kill requests. So I'm just going through the videos that are a little short-winded. When I did my first Baltimore reaction, I felt like I was being a little dry. As long as, you guys give me the feedback, and I'm not, because I don't like to be dry, Baltimore takes a little more time to listen to. I wouldn't really say he's dull, and then my whole deal with Major Kill is just that. He does it in a real short amount of time. Even if the information, I see a few comments saying his information's kind of like biased sometimes, or this, or it's wacky, or sometimes it's inaccurate. Well, whatever it may be, I'm just watching for the entertainment, and I like the lore. I actually enjoy the lore. And at times for me, I'm going to be super inaccurate because I'm still a baby within this. So if that's understood, I will watch Baltimore, my boy Balder, let's just say Balder. I will watch BM's videos, but just bear with me. If they're really long-winded, like hour or 30-minute, I have to find time to actually record because, live with people. So I gotta find time where I know the audio will be completely clear and I can sit for an actual hour. And then if they're videos that people seen, it depends on how I'm gonna chop it up. But I just want to put that out there. So thank you for listening to that long-winded message I had to get out. But I just do the videos within the certain requests. Like if I see a request, I put it on the list, and then I'm like, okay, let me see how long this video is. And then I got the things outside of Warhammer, so just bear with me. But thank you for all the support. You Warhammer people are fucking cool. And also, yeah, I know there's a difference between the fantasy one and this. I was showing that long list as an example of I got that list that I don't know if that person actually wants all of those done, but they're there. If you guys would like to see me do them, I'll have to type them in and see which ones I've done already. But I'm enjoying all this, and I'm enjoying interacting with you guys. I'm reading all the comments. But other than that, let's begin. That out the way. See, I just had to make a quick cut right there because I don't know if the talking will get louder. We will see. But I'm going to try something in this video. I don't know if it'll work properly, but we're going to find out right now. Now, I decided to start with the salamander one because these salamanders, I like them. They're really cool, and they're black, just like me. But I like them because, yeah, like even the title of this video, the salamanders, the true heroes of the Space Marines. I'm gonna be super. Never mind. I'm not. But let me just see. I think we're all good to go. I think we're all good. Let's see how this works. So I'm playing it off the speaker. The headphones are not in. Hopefully the audio still sounds good. And yeah, because those headphones, I don't know what it is, man. They're cursed. All the more. Here we go. I'll put on captions. We'll see they're auto-generated.
Into the fires of battle, unto the anvil of war.
He's mixing up the voice.
That is what we say.
Alright.
As the sun sets, I stand on the battlements, and I watch for the first.
Oh, wait, I watch videos a little bit faster. Don't worry, I won't miss anything. But I'll put it like 1:15. I forgot I watch videos faster. Yo, shout out to the comments that do that. I see you guys. Or girls. They're girls too.
Sign. I do not wait long. They crest the horizon, the darkness of night ablaze with their advent. They all carry torches, burning bundles of wood. It lights the night like a snake of fire as they rush toward us. The orc column will be here within the hour. The snake of light, of fire, reminds me. It reminds me of the trenches of lava flows that come from the volcanoes of my homeworld, Nocturne. It reminds me of why I am fighting. It reminds me of my forge, my place, my kith, my kin.
I'm assuming that was not Forbes and it was Forge. But okay, so far I like the voice he's doing, and it's pretty cool. And I don't know what else I wanted to say there, but
it reminds me of a joyous day. They had waited. They think I do them honor, but it is I who is honored. I walk into their home, the home of the sons of my father, the daughters of my mother. Though this has not literally been true for hundreds of years, they still request my presence, for we are family. Most of our cousins, the other Astartes, do not know this
I knew it.
warmth.
Oh, I thought that was so cool. When he said cousins, I was like, he's referring to the other Astartes, and then he said it. Oh, that was such a crisp snap. That was fire. Okay. Also, speaking of this video, I seen a comment that said, I haven't watched, or I don't think he has watched any Emperor videos, and that's a very important piece of lore. And then I have a video that's the absurd powers of the Empire that someone said would be a good place to start. So don't worry, I got that coming too.
Do not permit their number to retain these ties. They know not what they sacrifice, for they sacrifice purpose. I stoop to pass the door. I wear not my panoply of war, my armor, my weapons. I wear my robes, the robes of the cult of Prometheus. Yet, despite my similar attire, we do not look alike.
Cool.
I tower over all, yet none flinch or retreat from my presence. I am met with reverent bows out of respect, but all the faces that raise to meet my eye are adorned with the glory of light, of smiles. The warmth of family beams from them. It bathes me.
Oh yeah, they are dope. Hang on. So they are black? And the thing about Prometheus, I like that. Now I'm seeing the whole theme. Well, how they mix that in and the theme of them. That's really cool, because my name was actually my first name I thought about before it was not thought about, but before I was going into Lunar Was Lost was Relmetheus, which is just like the beginning of my name in Relmetheus. And then I photoshopped the picture so clean of, I wish I could show it. Now you won't know if it's clean, so maybe I'm lying. But I was carrying a torch because, you know, the story Prometheus, I won't keep
it. Heals me. It makes me stronger than any of my cousins can fathom. They lose so much. They never have this. The ritual is short. I fear that it is almost being rushed, yet I know why. It is the mighty lungs of the newest fire in our hearth, the new life for which we gather here to give thanks, to welcome into our family. He is strong. The smile is wide from all, but there is also a mild twitch. His endurance is good. He is loud and tenacious in signaling his displeasure. He shouts like a warrior born, crying his loudest at their disruption, to his quiet, at being passed from one to another, so they may look in his eyes. I try not to smile, as I must play my part. And hence is he passed to me. My hands engulf him like a mountain swallows a careless climber. He is large for his age. I raise him up to me to look in his eyes as our family ritual demands. All look on now, but with a hushed awe, as a child looks into my eyes and stops. His tears cease, and his features take on a calmness I can only recognize when I look in a mirror. He reaches for my finger and squeezes it, and then, like a blessing that washes away the awe on each face and replaces it with the heat of love, the smiles are infectious, as the tiny bell of his laugh chimes throughout this gathering place. But he is as ardent in his joy as he was in his previous consternation. All begin to laugh, even me. But then I notice it, when he closes his eyes and opens them. For a fleeting second, I saw a tinge of red. An omen. I do not believe in such things usually, but it all adds up. He snuggles into my hands and begins to drop off. But I saw it. Now, I must do something I have not done in 3 generations of my family.
Wow.
Usually, I would process toward the mother. I would pass back the child, as I have done so many times. I would say nothing, and they would know I had given my blessing, had accepted the child into our family. But not so today. I stride, making a course between them at first, but at the last I move toward the father. All now look on in silence, in awe again. It has been so long. I approach the father. His eyes now wide as he looks up at me. In his shock, he almost forgets to open his arms to accept back his son. As I bend down to pass this most precious treasure back to his sire, I speak the words our family have always used, the words that were said when I was passed back to my own father so many years ago. I speak. His soul is strong, perhaps strong enough for 2 hearts. The father nods and looks into his son's face with a newfound reverence. The mother's eyes tear up, a mixture of fear and pride in equal measure, as she moves to her husband's side to bask in the vision of her now slumbering son. Perhaps
They're gonna make... I kind of knew that this was where it was going the entire time, but like, they're gonna make this...
She fears, but when she looks up at me, she
it...
pretends the tears are ones of pride and joy. I will never know for certain if she pretends or no. I am only a man.
Heck no.
For I have told them what I saw. Maybe he will be strong enough to pass the trials. Maybe he will be strong enough, determined enough, brave enough to join my order.
So basically, it's not like a sacrifice, right? They're about to give their kid up. He sees a powerful soul within this kid. In a weird way, are they about to witcher the kid? Like, you know, put him through the... It sounds like they're putting him through, like he's about to put him through the test of being a freaking witcher.
Be a son of Vulcan, to be a salamander.
A salamander.
My eyes open again, and the greenskins are almost here.
Okay, each, okay, this is kind of obvious to me, but you guys can confirm if you want to also. What is it? So each Space Marine faction, or, you know, family as he's saying it, or cousins, he looks at it, or yeah, I don't know if all of them in the Salamanders look at it as a family, but as he looks at it as a family and distant cousins, they all go through their different things. So I can't remember from Bricky's video, and if he said this, are they leading in from what I was just saying, are they black, like looking like volcano ash because of what they go through when they become the Astartes? Do they, like, when they become a salamander, do you go through something that makes your skin black? I just repeated that at the same time. Or is it because of where they're from? They're like, naturally this is in their genes to be this dark? Or is it like that little son that's about to have 2 hearts is gonna go through the...
Check my bolter.
Ornament
Check
hockey?
the flamer at my feet. For the number that approaches means that no matter how fast we fire, no matter how accurately hit our lines, they will. For they are many, and we are few. But I swear to myself, as I always do, I look to the village behind and below me, and I swear, none shall pass my watch. For I stand between the greenskins, and brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters. Though this village be light years from my home, though they knew me not, but scanned hours ago, they will never know or remember my name. These are my people, all of them. They are humans. They are brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters. We are the same. Were the entire Xenos race to attempt to come crashing down on our lines, we will not break.
So,
for we are sons of Nocturne. We are the
sons of Nocturne. Okay, so they retain their... They said, this was in many comments, so forgive me if I'm not remembering properly. When going through the process of becoming a space marine, you, like, through all the genetical engineering and shit they go through, they lose their emotions through the process. Is that literally The Witcher? Because some Witchers lose their thing, I'm pretty sure, but I don't know too much about that lore, so let me not get too deep in that. But I think they lose their feelings, right, or connection, because they're basically not human. They're human, but they're not human. So do, like, the greenskins completely keep their that connection between humans?
Sons of Vulcan. We are the sons of the Emperor. But more than anything, even than that, we are sons of humanity. As I stand in this place, I hear again that chime, the little bell, the laughter of the youngest of my family. For him, no greenskin will pass me this night. Welcome, gentle listeners. I am Voldemort, and I wish to introduce you to the forces and factions of the Warhammer 40k universe. Today, I would like to expose a hidden truth, one that is disregarded or ignored by almost the entire community of the Warhammer fanbase. Anyone who has heard of Warhammer will know one of the...
He called y'all out. What? Ignored?
The most repeated tropes. There are no heroes in the grim darkness of the future.
That is actually...
Alas, I cannot agree with this analysis. For of all of the Adeptus Astartes, of all of the legions of the Emperor, all of the subsequent chapters from which they sprang, there is one order, one chapter that stands alone in the Imperium, the Salamanders. To this fraternity of warriors there is one pledge, one oath, that stands above all others.
So what I'm hearing is it's the Tau and them, but they would, even though they're regarded as like the heroes, they would shoot at the Tau, right? They would cap the Tau because other alien races. I know that you guys can confirm that for me, but I don't know. Something in me wants to already know that. Well, as I get deeper, I will. But so basically, I'm hearing the two like less, pretty much still evil in this universe, but not to the degree of the other factions. They're the less. So this greenskins and the Tower, what I'm hearing.
Have always been likened to indomitable and brave futuristic knights who swear fealty to the master of mankind. They pledge to protect his realm, his Imperium. They pledge to show honor and courage in the face of their enemy, no matter how terrible in power or visage. They pledge to know no fear. But of all of the classical neo-heraldic pledges that are given, these mighty warriors, the Salamanders, take one their brothers do not.
One sec, real quick. All right, and we're back.
The pledge that separates them from their cousins in other chapters and legions, one that makes them more than their comrades in arms. For it gives them a nobility that is rarely spoken of, as it seems to fly in the face of the popular trope. They are the closest thing that this setting has to true heroes. For this pledge they adhere to above all others, no matter the cost. They pledge to protect the weak. The chapters, rightly or wrongly, see things on a grand scale, the bigger picture. It is this excuse that is used when they ignore the predations of the local population by the Pirate King, the Elder Corsair, the Orc Raiders, the Chaos Invasions, the demonic attacks. When any other chapter of Space Marines is faced with an enemy, they will use this excuse to charge into them, to bombard them, to take the heads of their leadership in a decapitating strike, all the while ignoring the plight of the very humans that make up the Imperium, the very thing all Marines have been oath-bound to protect. They deploy the same excuse, the same justification. The chapters of Space Marines, the Astartes, are to destroy the enemies of mankind. They are to reduce overall casualties by removing the threats. If 1 million human beings are to die in a siege, this is a numbers game. It is a drop in the ocean. Other chapters will state that by sacrificing the millions in a hive to being bait for the destruction of the threat, no matter what it may be, that they safeguard all others the enemy would slay. Their losses are acceptable in the bigger, grander scheme of things. They feel righteous. But they merely deploy this excuse to shroud their utter disregard, their implicit and callous contempt and nonchalance at the loss of normal human life. It is not difficult to see why. The vast majority of Space Marines cut off all ties to their family, their homeworld, and normal humanity. They remove these ties as they state they will be distractions, will muddy waters, and will cause conflicts of priority and remove the perspective that is required for the Astartes to view the greater whole. But the Salamanders do not believe this, and do not do this.
Yeah.
For the Salamanders are one of the only chapters that keep families and culture and love at the very heart of their endeavors.
And before I even continue, can we talk about how beastly that guy is? We'll go back. That picture of that salamander looks so dope. He wasn't burnt to a crisp.
Always at the forefront of their minds. A salamander is permitted to maintain contact with his family, is encouraged to take whatever scant time they may be given to be with their loved ones, their normal human kith and kin. Not for the salamanders is the numbers game, the bigger picture, for they believe that they are the very center of their families, the very center of the human race, and they will defend any and all. A salamander would never abandon convoys of civilians to the ravages of a horde of greenskins simply to strike at a war boss, as was clearly shown on Armageddon, much to the chagrin of their allies. The salamanders do not consider the loss of even one single life to be acceptable if it can be avoided. They would stand and hold the line, would fight with the same fervor and implacable rage to defend the smallest shanty town of huts as other chapters with the very gates of the Imperial Palace on Terra.
I literally think they're some of the coolest, and he looks like a fucking beast up there.
Salamanders never
they all look beastly.
Yet that they are, above all things, human. Something that all too often their brothers parrot and profess, but do not seem to actually believe. Not really. Not in their hearts. Their goal is the destruction of their enemies, with the saving of human lives as almost an afterthought, a convenient byproduct. They live for the fray. Not all, but most. Not so the Salamanders. And always has it been this way. The Salamanders, the 18th Legion of the Legiones Astartes, were ever a legion who were willing to sacrifice and be sacrificed for others. Indeed, they are, in the opinion of this bard.
I like to think they're using incendiary rounds. They probably are, right? They are, right? They gotta be using incendiary rounds, right? Just to add to the flare.
The most noble of all of the Space Marines. Originally, they were dubbed the Fire Dragons. In the end stages of the Unification Wars, they were almost wiped out. For they were sent into a battle that most thought they would never return from at all. The entire 20,000 warriors of the 18th Legion were to be used in one assault. An impossible task, from which only 1,000 of them returned. But return they did. The assault of the Tempest Galleries, a battle that has resounded through history. The Caucasus Wastes was the last remaining rogue state that had not bent the knee to the Emperor in his campaign to unify Terra, Earth. They had shielding that was impossible to be brought down, so the Emperor, in his wisdom, located the source by which these shields were powered. It was far underground, almost impossible to reach. The 18th were sent via vast digging torpedoes into the caverns under the city-states of the Caucasus Wastes, the Tempest Galleries. None truly expected them to be victorious. None truly believed any would return, but they were wrong. The Salamanders fought a battle so important, an adversary so terrible, I needs must come back to this at another time to do it proper justice. They went knowing they may be sacrificed for the greater goal, the unification of Holy Terra, the birthplace of humanity, Earth. But importantly, they went without complaint. They went not as lambs to the slaughter, but as men with heads held high. They did the impossible.
But they
brought down those impenetrable shields and permitted 6 other legions and the Emperor's own bodyguards, the 10,000, the Custodes, to sweep into the site of the last resistance and crush it all. Their action sealed the end of that terrible war and permitted the domination and unification of Terra. But they did one thing none believed they could. They came back. Out of 20,000 sent, a mere 1,000 returned. Forever after were their numbers fewer than their brother legions. But a legion they did eventually become again. When this was
I didn't want to keep pausing, but then again, I kind of got to keep pausing. But holy moly, I was like saying that, I was trying to say it, but I wanted to let Voldemort keep talking. 20,000 went in and 1,000 came back.
achieved,
They
it was
went
most
20k deep.
often that the salamanders were kept as a strategic and tactical reserve by the Emperor's armies during the Great Crusade. They would be sent to defend worlds that had been brought into compliance that were threatened, but too far from the front to have the crusading legions turn about in time. They became known as the Defenders of Humanity, as they intercepted raiders, crushed unforeseen orc incursions, or any threat that occurred behind the lines of the crusade as it pushed further and further out into the galaxy. It has been a mantle that they have worn with pride. It has been one that they have worn over all of the 10,000 years of the Imperium, never slipping, never dropped. For the salamanders will defend humans no matter the cost to themselves. While most other chapters will always weigh up the benefit and loss of their intervention, will always balance their losses to the damage done to the Imperium before intervening, the salamanders do not. They will stand. They will attack. They will burn. They will fight to the bitter end in the defense of the common human as no other.
Okay.
The salamanders are still Astartes, are still Space Marines, are still things of fire and wrath, and built and trained, equipped and programmed for one thing only: war.
Yep, destruction.
But of all of the legions, of all of the chapters, they are the only ones I can honestly say deserve the title of Knights.
Oh, knights. Okay. Because they're heroes.
I have been Voldemort, your faithful servant. If you have enjoyed this introduction to the Salamanders, then please do consider liking and subscribing. If you are a regular gentle listener, then please do also consider supporting us on Patreon. If this is not possible, then perhaps just a share.
Shout out to Voldemort. Yeah, shout out to Voldemort. That's okay. So what I will say, holy moly, that one was actually good. I enjoyed it. I like the salamanders anyway, and the idea of the salamanders. Not because they're actually yes and no. Not because they're just good and I'm trying to find a faction to be good with, because like I said, if I'm an elf and I gotta rock with the elves, then hands down I gotta stay with the Eldar. In all truth, I'm Eldar, no matter how dark those motherfuckers are. But I like the salamanders because I feel like they're a nice balance with the tower. I hope the tower is the faction, because I'm kind of like, I'm not confident in my knowledge of Warhammer yet to say things and be like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So I hope the Tau is the race that's the right one. That was kind of is the fresh one that's newly introduced. They're kind of like the good guys. But yeah, aside from the Tau, they seem like a good balance to an overall dark ass universe, you know? I feel like you gotta have, and what's perfect is they embody the element of fire, and fire is supposed to be is just known for being destructive, and it could bring about change. The aftermath of it pushes you into that transformative state of like changing, rebuilding. So, you know, in fire, some people look at fire for cleansing. There's the whole like smite is like divine fire. So, you know, it's cool. They embody everything that fire is supposed to be, and they turn that into literally a burning passion, like he was saying. Like it's just in that burning passion for humanity. And it's funny with the Prometheus reference, bringing I think what it was bringing the torch. He brought flame, like I'm pretty sure it was divine flame too, or it was regular fire, brought it to humans, and that's like what they do. They bring the fire to the enemy for the humans. So I think that's really cool, and I think it was nice hearing Voldemort read this, even though I felt like even with my intense listening, is Voldemort
of things they feel righteous. But they merely deploy this excuse to shroud
British? I don't know him, because something in my head was like I was trying to listen, and I felt like even with my intense listening, I wasn't really. I don't know. Maybe it was the voice. I don't know. But Baltimore, this one was way cooler, way more interesting, and I think, of course, it was going to be way more interesting to me anyways, because going in, I like the salamanders, so. It's easier to pay attention. It's easier to pay attention to something that you already have interest in. So, and that's not to say I'm not interested about the other facets of Warhammer, but the Salamanders was definitely one I wanted to get in, so I'm glad I did this Baltimore video first before the other ones that were requested. But shout out to all of you. Much love and light. Shout out to Baltimore. I won't keep this going any longer than it is. And yeah, and appreciate it, guys. And girls, I'm out.